What was inconceivable only a matter of years ago is now not only accepted, but expected. We live in a digital age where technological advance is so rapid the future can barely be imagined. E-retail, social networks, iPads, integrated Wi-Fi and 3D TV are only a hint at what is to come. The E-magine palette captures the essence of imagination. Anything is possible.
I like white walls, white floors, white ceilings, and then you can play around and you can instantly change the space just by changing a light fitting and adding a canvas, and you can totally transform it from season to season and keeping up with the trends.
Travel on your journey through the digital landscape and cyberspace with colours that keep you grounded. The strength and clarity of St Clair and Mannaburn Quarter, or the inspirational quest of Mount Inaccessible. So there we have our final palette. Obviously, all those things, the paint staple, our whites and neutrals. Whoops. Certainly, when we're looking at whites, obviously, there's so many variations these days. It's just fantastic. We've got so much choice. As part of a study that I did a few years ago, we actually looked at the last 20 years of colour and what's happened with whites over the last 20 years. It was the most amazing project to do because it really showed me, you know, the changes that people really want as far as choice. The interesting thing was, I think in 1986 we had about 25 whites for normal, you know, everyday consumers to choose from, and now they have over 1,000 whites. Now some of those are tinted whites, but you know the difference is just absolutely amazing, and a lot of them, you know, they still want for more. So as much as a lot of them wouldn't be able to actually select from them because it's too much choice, they still always are looking for, you know, another white that isn't quite grey, it's not quite red, it's, you know, between them. There's always something extra that we can bring to the floor with whites. This other colour that we've added in this palette is the charcoal. Charcoal's really important. What we've seen, especially from an interior perspective, is with the interest in the theatre room now. And this is certainly from a commercial perspective on the big housing developments and big apartment builds. You know, a lot of people are quite comfortable in having a near black or a charcoal in a theatre room because it does make a difference to the big plasma TV or the projector or whatever their LCD screen or even the new 3D TVs. So because they're actually being a bit more familiar with these deep, darker sort of colours, it's actually giving them a little bit more confidence to put colour in other rooms. So from a colourist perspective, it's quite exciting. Other things we've incorporated in this palette are the metallics. Now, metallics are not going away. We're seeing so many more products that actually have metallic flecks now, and it's from plastics to ceramics to glassware to textiles, you name it, we have metallic flecks. Recently I had a meeting with a Melbourne-based company who they actually design linen for all over the world. They're in pretty much most continents, and they're using a lot more metallic fleck now in a lot of their, just for embellishment and also just through cushioning and just to add sort of create a bit of light, because there's a lot more embroidery and natural or those handcraft sort of movements coming back into bed linen again, which is good to see. And obviously the botanicals and the birds and all of that come into it, and I've recently saw their latest collection, which was very much based around the bird motif. So this particular palette is based on all those things from a technology perspective. When we looked at technology when the new millennium hit back in 2000, the colour that was actually associated with the new millennium was a really lovely blue. It was quite a bright blue. With the introduction of the iPod from Apple, and we all know Apple and how successful that has been for them in that really high gloss white plastic, that has actually almost changed the whole feel for technology. You know, a lot of technology technology. When we think about technology now, we think of that white variation rather than blue. Blue is certainly not something that comes first at mind now. So the future laboratory, they're predicting that the next 10 years will be the decade of the real-time branding experience. And this is where all of the customisation really comes into, it's just amazing what they're doing now in customisation. And it's amazing because it's actually done in mainstream brands. Places like, Freedom Furniture that obviously you guys have here, they're very big in Australia as well. And you can get pretty much a lot of the big furniture now. You can get it in whatever fabric you like. Sofas, for an example, upholstered bed heads. You can get particular designs, and you can just get it made to what you want. Years ago, that wasn't available. Same with Dell. Dell bring out laptops, and you get to design. You get to actually choose from about 160 designs of a pattern that you can put with different colourways on top of that laptop to make it, truly yours. Or if you want to, you can actually do your own design and upload it. So there's a lot of different factors now on customisation, and furniture design is no different. There's a lot more individual designs happening, and there's some fantastic new designers coming through, and there was a lot of first-time designers at Milan as well this year, which is good to see because there's all really fresh ideas again. So this particular palette is quite neutral, as we know. This really is our staple. I'm sure a lot of you use whites from day to day, and you try and encourage your clients to use other colours. But of course, those whites just keep coming back. So unfortunately, we just have to work with that. But they are not going away anytime too soon, I can assure you. So I think I'm going to pass over to Jen now. I'll just quickly show you a little bit of the storyboard, though. Once again, this will be up the back for you to view, and if anyone has any questions while I'm up the back, you please come and see me. I mentioned the dragonfly motif. This is a vase by Baccarat, and Baccarat did the most amazing installation for Designer Days this year. They really went over the top. All the room was in dark fabric, if you like. They had LED lighting with almost sort of the plastic glass lit up with all of their crystal. It was just incredible. And you walked on this black walkway with beautiful LED lighting coming down in the strapping lighting, and everywhere you sort of stopped, there was this amazing, crystal, beautifully lit with amazing sketches, obviously, of either dragonflies or beautiful imprints. So they did an amazing job. Lalique is a beautiful China brand in Paris as well, and quite a new designer actually made this gorgeous, and unfortunately you can't see it on screen, but it was like a pearl drop, and it actually became part of the handle on the cup, and it came into the cup like I've never seen. It was almost woven in, and that you might be able to see on the storyboard at the back. So there was a lot of different things that we saw this year. One of the big things at Baccarat is their whole theme was on Alice in Wonderland, and obviously we all know that's quite a Fantasia, very imaginative sort of theme. When you walked into their foyer, they've got one of those grand stairwells that that you see in Paris quite often. They're very high. This particular chair, if I was standing underneath it, my head would not even have come up to the bottom of the chair, the actual pad. It was absolutely huge, and it was all done with crystal. It was just magnificent, obviously well lit as well. The other area, obviously, greys. We're still seeing greys coming through really strongly, but mainly in either the soft greys, not the mid greys, and also in the charcoal. So you've got that real juxtapose. Kitchens are really interesting, and I'm sure a lot of you are probably already starting to see kitchens. There's so many different elements in kitchens, and a lot of the kitchens that we saw, especially at Boffy, they're not using one or two sort of elements in a kitchen. They're not just using stone and laminate or stone and lacquer, or they're using lots of different elements. So you've got timber, you've got steel, you've got lacquer or paint, and stone. Mixing them all together and really creating a variation in colour from the natural materials as well. So there was a lot to see in kitchens, and I think we'll start to see more of that come through, especially from the commercial market down as well.